Tanya Fernandez Anderson has a lot of firsts on the Boston City Council. She is the first Muslim, the first African immigrant, and the first formerly undocumented immigrant to serve.
Your votes here sometimes are racist. You move sometimes in a way that hurts my people. And then when I get up to stand up and talk, all she talks about is black stuff.
As you should.
I am here to represent every single black woman and man that suffers in the community. God has my back. What do I have to do in this council in order to get respect as a black woman?
A few moments later.
Boston City Councilor Tanya Fernandez Anderson has just been taken into custody.
Here's video from moments ago of the FBI outside a Dorchester home. We told you earlier this week the city councilor is under federal investigation, but neither she nor the city would tell us why. Officials cited the U.S. Attorney's Office, saying the integrity of a grand jury investigation would be impaired by disclosing information.
So the first former undocumented, first Muslim, first African immigrant to be elected to city council is now under federal corruption charges. This is Tanya Fernandez Anderson, a trailblazer in Boston politics. She's the first Muslim, the first African immigrant, and the first formerly undocumented immigrant to serve in Boston City's council. Now, she also has the title of being the first Boston councilwoman to face a federal indictment for corruption charges. Now, Anderson was elected to the Boston City Council in 2021, and she was hailed as a voice for marginalized communities. Now, after being elected, she decided, hey, you know what? Let me hook up my family with comfy jobs here at City Council, and started employing people like her sister and brother.
The commission says Fernandez Anderson appointed her sister director of constituent services. She paid her $65,000, later raised it to $70,000 and threw in a $7,000 bonus. Total salary $77,000. The commission says in June of last year, Fernandez Anderson appointed her son office manager and paid him $52,000 a year. The next month, she raised that to $70,000. The councilor ended the employment of her sister and son in August of 2022.
She even went as far as to ask the city council to raise the salary of staff members so she can pay even more money to her family members.
Boston city councilors control their own budget, deciding for themselves how much to spend on everything from salary and bonuses to postage. And Fernandez Anderson advocated for bigger budgets. Here she is in April of last year, just 1 month before giving her relative the bonus.
The point is that we're not paying our staff properly.
She and other councilors asked to increase their staff salary budget from $315,000 to $390,000 and suggested
to leave the decision-making to discretion of the councilors.
I want to take a quick second and talk about something that actually adds value to your life. Something that gets you informed, not manipulated. That's why I'm so excited that the sponsor of this video, Hillsdale College, is offering more than 40 free online courses. You can learn about the works of C.S. Lewis, or the stories in the book of Genesis, the meaning of the Constitution. You can check out the rise and fall of the Roman Empire, the history of the ancient Christian church. With Hillsdale College, you get it all, and it's available for free. Now, I personally recommend you set up for the course, which I'm calling the ISMs. It's Marxism, Socialism, and Communism. This brand new online course is unlike anything Hillsdale has produced before. Now, over the course of 6 documentary-style episodes, you'll hear from Hillsdale professors of history, politics, and economics as they look at things like Marx's life and writings, the misery and brutality of the Soviet Union, the atrocities of communist China, and the proliferation of the cultural Marxism in America. You'll also see how some of these ideas have rooted themselves in American politics today. It's vital that we take these ideas and historical figures seriously so that we can see the injustices and evils in them and be better equipped to defeat them. Now, all this is free, 100% free, and you can start that free course today. Just go to hillsdale.edu/Nate. That's hillsdale.edu/Nate to enroll. There's no course and it's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/Nate to register. Now, back to the video. Now, after it was found out that she was employing her family members to these positions at City Council, the ethics board said, well, you can't do that because of the conflict of interest, and then gave her a major fine for the violations.
The State Ethics Commission leveling a $5,000 fine against Boston City Councilor Tanya Fernandez Anderson for putting her sister and her son on the city payroll.
Now, members of the city council in Boston make between $103,000 to $125,000 a year. But that wasn't enough money for Anderson, who was behind on her rent and was in a financial disaster personally.
Her personal finances in shambles, including missing rent and car payments, old state ethics fines, and bank overdraft fees.
If we love people and we care about people, we respect them. And if you respect them, you pay them.
So for those of you who follow the Tiffany Hinyard saga, this sounds a lot like that. She's missing rent payments. She's missing car payments. She can't pay her fines from the state, and her bank has overdrafted her accounts. So how are you going to get some more money if you're a city council person? Well, it seems like she put a kickback plan into place.
Ms. Fernandez Anderson was facing financial difficulty in 2023. Part of that financial difficulty stemmed from a sanction that was imposed by the State Ethics Commission of $5,000 for Ms. Fernandez Anderson hiring immediate family members in her Boston City Council office. And in around that same time in 2023, Ms. Fernandez Anderson, the grand jury alleges, hatched this scheme to funnel bonus payments, taxpayer money into her own pocket in the tune of approximately $7,000. Specifically, despite the fact that she was under investigation by the State Ethics Commission, Ms. Fernandez Anderson hired another family member on her staff at Boston City Hall to handle constituent services. That staff member was related to her, but Ms. Fernandez Anderson falsely represented to City Hall that there was no familial relationship. That is staff member A in the indictment. Ms. Fernandez Anderson then went on to tell that staff member A that she would give that person a $13,000 bonus. That bonus of $13,000 was more than twice as much as Ms. Fernandez was paying to the rest of her staff combined in bonuses. But that supersized bonus came with a hitch. Ms. Fernandez Anderson told staff member A that she would need to fork over $7,000 in cash back to Ms. Fernandez Anderson. Staff member A agreed. The indictment alleges that after staff member A received the deposit of approximately $10,000 after taxes in her bank account, staff member A was directed to make cash withdrawals. And she did that in the days following the receipt of the money in her bank account. $3,000 on May 31st, 2023, $3,000 on June 5th, 2023, and $4,000 on the afternoon of Friday, June 9th, 2023. And shortly after that last cash withdrawal, Ms. Fernandez Anderson and staff member A texted each other, and they arranged for a meetup in a bathroom in City Hall. That meeting happened in the bathroom around 4 o'clock or so on that Friday. And when they met inside that bathroom, Ms. Fernandez Anderson put $7,000 in cash in her pocket, the grand jury alleges. All of that money was funded by the taxpayers of the city of Boston.
So the indictment came down, the corruption seems to be exposed, and now it's time for Councilor Anderson to be arrested. Here's what happened.
Boston City Councilor Tanya Fernandez Anderson has just been taken into custody.
Here's video from moments ago of the FBI outside a Dorchester home. We told you earlier this week the city councilor is under federal investigation, but neither she nor the city would tell us why. Officials cited the U.S. Attorney's Office, saying the integrity of a grand jury investigation would be impaired by disclosing information.
So, as you will see, she's wearing the same coat and jacket that she got arrested in. She goes in front of the judge and says, hey, I am not guilty of these charges.
Developments in the story that has been unfolding all day. Boston City Councilor Tanya Fernandez Anderson leaving federal court in Boston this afternoon after pleading not guilty to corruption charges. She was arrested before dawn this morning. News Center 5 had the only camera there as the FBI took her into custody at her home. She is accused of taking thousands of dollars in city money in a kickback scheme.
Councilor Fernandez Anderson was here at the federal courthouse where she pleaded pleaded not guilty to all 6 federal charges she faces, and she was allowed to be released without having to post any bail. Now, she left the federal courthouse surrounded by cameras and reporters. She declined to make any comment, including when I asked her if she plans to resign from the Boston City Council. If convicted on these charges, she does face several years in prison.
Now, this councilwoman's finances are so bad that the judge had to appoint a government-funded attorney and said that eventually when she started getting some paychecks, she's gonna have to pay the government back. But right now, she doesn't have enough money to pay for an attorney.
The judge agreed to appoint a government-funded attorney for Fernandez Anderson, but said he thinks that in the future she may be required to pay for part of her defense. As a city councilor, she currently makes about $115,000 a year.
So now you have the first councilwoman who's being charged with federal corruption violations for essentially taking this kickback. Again, all these are just allegations in the indictment. But people in Boston have had enough, and people are now calling for this councilwoman to resign because this is ridiculous.
You know, Tanya Fernandez Anderson has a lot of firsts on the Boston City Council. She is the first Muslim, the first African immigrant, and the first formerly undocumented immigrant to serve.
The city has to continue doing our business.
Boston Mayor Michelle Wu speaking publicly for the first time about the arrest of Boston City Councilor Tanya Fernandez Anderson. The mayor says while there is still a legal process that has to play out, she believes the city councilor should resign.
The charges are serious enough that I believe it is of the nature that is going to undermine the ability for the public to trust and have effective representation in this case. So I think I've made my views clear on that.
Now, let's just keep it real. This story isn't just about corruption. It's a cautionary tale about identity politics gone horribly wrong. She weaponized her status as a trailblazer to gain trust, only to betray the people who put her in that position. While she is currently innocent until proven guilty, the court of public opinion has rendered its verdict, and it's not looking good. Now, corruption has no boundaries, it has no borders, but when it infiltrates public service, it's the people who pay the price. Tanya Anderson may have started as a symbol of hope, but now she's a glaring reminder of why accountability matters. And this should be a lesson that we shouldn't hire people because of what they are. We need to hire people because of who they are. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that great YouTube stuff. My name is Nate the Lawyer, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Peace.